really neat. I'm looking past it. Yeah. Yes, can you see that then? Hold on. Okay, let me show you where I work at. Ugh. So this is my little space that I'm gonna work at. Okay. Well, let's get into it. I love working here, so let me just set up my little thing. Hold up, wait a minute. Okay. We got a lot to do today. I love sitting here. It makes me feel like I'm gonna serve them drinks. But I love sitting here. It's gorgeous. Let's get some of these flowers again. Wait, I need to put this up. Oh, yes. So much to do. I do want to get into this topic today. Okay. I do want to get into this topic. So we can talk about that first before I get very busy. Water. Have to have your waters. Okay. Just run some lotion over my knuckles. Run lotion over your knuckles. Hello, hi. Okay, don't be dusty now. Okay, use a bit of lotion. Get into it. Okay. Get, especially this part. Black people, get this. Hit this. Hit this. Okay, get into between those knuckles. Get into it. What say thee? Let's get, okay, so our discussion today is gonna be about, I'm gonna say, how do we phrase this? We're gonna say the colored controversy, I guess that's what it is, right? And why I don't come for me, understand where Tyler was coming from. I don't necessarily agree with what she said, but I understand it, and I'm gonna break down why I understand it and why I don't agree with her and my own views as a colored myself. So let's get into it. But let's get these plants out. We can have like a nice little aesthetic going. Because one thing about me, I like a little beautiful aesthetic, okay? How is my sound? Let's get that out of the way first. How is my sound doing? How is my sound doing? Tell me that first. Okay, let's get our lip gloss out. Welcome. Make sure I have everything I need. Let's take out charging cables. Cable here. Charging. Everything that we're gonna possibly. We're gonna work here the whole day. It's 10 now. I'm probably gonna leave around 1. Because I got so much to do. Okay. Pen. What else? I think that's it. I think that's good. Oh, thank you. Thank you, kind sir. All right, let's get into it. So what we're gonna do is maybe put this on this side so that it's out of the way. Maybe move this. No, that is too festive. Maybe the one. These ones, not enough. I think these ones are better. I'm selling this aesthetic early. I need to work on that. I'm very much into aesthetics. I'm a Taurus, so we like things to look beautiful. Let's see. Good morning, Sawadika. Oh, you need to be here? Okay. Oh, this. Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right. So that would mean, I'm assuming that what that means is that my sound is okay, right? If you were saying that, okay. Am I loud enough? Okay. Okay, so I'm not gonna necessarily work right now, but I do want to put up a, oh, that's gonna take too long. I was hoping, let me copy and paste it so that it's easier to just copy and paste instead of typing, because it's gonna take forever. But yeah, we are going to talk a little bit today about the color controversy, why you guys canceled Tyler, and why I think there might have been a little bit more grace from the American people's side just to understand her. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't agree, but to just give context as to why it is that she said what she said. As a person who myself had been identified, or who still by legally termed colored, I want for us to understand. But before we do that, I just want to make sure that we have myself connected here. Okay, before we get into it, your voice is sweet. Hey, love. Hey, Jerome. So everybody, we are talking today based on what I said to you yesterday, or was it the day before? And I said today we're going to talk about the about the whole color topic controversy, and why I think the American people were a little bit too hard on Tyler, because you guys didn't understand what she was really saying. And I'm going to break down why it is that I agree with her, and also why it is that I disagree with her, and where I fall in that little interim between the two, because I'm also classified as a colored within so I am South African, for those of you who do not know. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm gonna put it on the screen for us just now. And why I also understand the trauma that the American people read that with and understood that with. So I have some context for us here. We're going to start at the beginning. We're going to start with the history of Southern Africa, so we can understand why it is that there are these legal terms for our people, right? Because in actual fact, it is actually a legal term to call us colored. Okay, it is. By the way, I'm outraged at that particular thing. It makes me very upset, but that is what it is. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of history before we do anything else. But before we do that, let's just get the topic on the screen. So just give me 2 seconds on the tape. Oh, you guys can now. Ooh. Why can't you guys see me? What's going on? What is going on? Okay, maybe we said the in front, right? Okay, let's. Hello, hold on, everybody. Ooh, okay, let me get off and on. Add the in the front. Okay, so let's just maybe put this here. I think you guys get what I'm saying. Why is my phone so hot already? We literally just got started. When I say hot, I mean like it's actually boiling hot. Why is it not even moving? The devil is busy today, hey? I can't even move this. Are you guys seeing my little comic moving around on the screen? What is going on? Okay. Hopefully it's gonna be still. Okay. Let's make it like maroonish. Okay, hold on. Hold on, wait a minute. the old one. Okay, that one is deleted. I'm trying to put the title on the screen, like the colored controversy. When I tell you that I'm being fought by the forces because I don't want the message to be out here, so I could educate our people on just how badly everybody got affected by this and just how much our people have been indoctrinated. Okay, so hopefully it's on the screen now. Let me know if you guys can see the topic on the screen. It should be on this little corner right here. Are you South African? Yes, I am. So let's start at the very top of it all. I'm gonna actually pull up some history with the exact dates and times. So I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna start with the history of South Africa, and then I'm gonna talk a little bit about why I think Black Americans were so sensitive about the topic and why it triggered so many people. And I'm talk about my views on why I hate the term colored and why I hate being identified as one. So let's start there. So for me, I'm a Black woman. That's how I would like to be identified as. But legally, I'm a colored. So let's talk on it. Okay. So I do have work to do as well. So I might not be too involved after my discussion because I do need to finish a couple of things. But for now, let's get into the tea of it. So here's the history of it. Just kidding. I don't know what you said, babes. I know you would say no, but I can ask you. But can I ask you? I would need to know you. Hi, James. James. When I tell you that I blocked James before, this is the same James, I swear. When I was still in Phuket, I was not Phuket in Pattaya for my birthday. This was the same James. James, I'm not playing these games with you today. Read the topic. Stay on course. Okay? We are all mixed. Let's get into the tea of it. Okay. So Black South African people were formerly segregated, right? So this was in 1948 when the National Party came into being. Now the National Party is like the white supremacy party. It will be, if anything, if I could classify it the best way, I would say it's the red wing. It's the red wing side of things, right? But it's a South African term, and these were white people, what we call segregation, right? Now segregation, I think if you don't know the word, it's okay. Segregation is basically when you separate groups of people, right? You segregate them into, whether it's segregation happened in the US as well, but they segregated these groups of people into 4 particular groups. The first group is whites. The second group was blacks, which was labeled as Bantu or African, and then coloreds, which is what I am, which I hate. And then, sorry, that was very aggressive, but that's how much I hate it. And then Asians, right? These are now people like Indians and those who came from Asia who settled within Cape or within South Africa. So we had 4 groups: whites, blacks, Africans, Bantu, same category, and then coloreds, which is what I am, and then Asians, right? So those are the 4 groups. And they decided not only will we segregate you by these different names, we will also segregate you in terms of where you get to stay. The point of white supremacy, the National Party back in 1948, was to make blacks, African, Bantu people feel less like a human, to make them feel as inhumane as they could possibly make them feel, to make them feel like animals, right? And so they segregated them into the poorest neighborhoods, right? They segregated them from where they used to stay, and they put them in these areas like the Transvaal is what they used to call it. And they placed African people, blacks, Bantus in those areas. Colored people, I would, and I'm only going to talk about these 2 groups because this is what the discussion is about. Colored people were like the little step above. The best way I can always describe this would be like the house slave. Like on the plantation, colored people were the house slaves, right? Remember, we were segregated by name first. We were just black. And they were like, you guys cannot just be black. We need to segregate you in these different groups. And so now, colored people got the better jobs. They got their housing was a little better. It's like just a step above, right? Like exactly the way they did with the plantation, was that you just get to stay in the house and you don't have to work in the cotton fields, right? For example. Again, this is an open floor. You don't have to agree with me. I love a debate. I love you challenging me. You don't have to agree, but I'm telling you my issues. I might just finish my whole statement first before I'm going to get into the engagement. So just let me do that first, right? And so African people were treated like absolute animals. They were given terrible housing, their school systems were terrible, they were really treated inhumanely. You can look at the pictures, you can go to the Apartheid Museum, you can look it up, and you can see how African people, blacks, the original, like how badly they were treated. Now, the origin of the colored people is there's a very interesting dynamic there, because colored people are actually the part of it is the Khoisan people. Now, the Khoisan people, the best way to describe them would be like the Red Indians, right, of the US. These were the original people of Southern Africa. These were the people that had their little felt on and they were hunting. They were the people, they spoke Ki, like it's a language that was particular to them. Now, the Dutch settlers came into Cape Town and they brought with them a form of Dutch, right? Now, the language got diluted completely, and now Afrikaans was now also part of this. Now, one thing we know about white people, and you can label me as much as you can. I'm talking from a place of anger and rage, in a place of a woman who had her identity taken away from her and who has to always defend the fact that I am now in a place where I don't like to be classified as a colored, right? Anyway, so Afrikaans then became the colored people's language, and it's actually part of the whites, the Dutch that came into the Dutch settlers that came in and partly colonized Southern Africa, right? Pushed the Khoisan people out of the Western Cape, pushed them. They're actually all the way up in Namibia, so they have been pushed almost all the way out of South Africa. You don't even hear about the Khoisan people anymore, but these were the original people. So there's a wing of that colored people came from. But in actual fact, colored people, a lot of you would call us mixed race, which I am not. Both my parents are black, but colored, if mixed, would be necessarily like a white, like Trevor Noah, a white man, black woman, colored. Like he is the definition of a colored, right? Where they have two different sets of parents from two different race groups, right? Came together, they had a colored child. So that was it. But because white supremacy was so terrible at the time, they just classified people. They just like, if you looked light enough, you were a colored. If some people even passed as white, like if you had straight hair, you had a light skin, and you had colored, like blue or which color people can have because it's of the mixed race between the two groups. You can even pass as white, which we know what happened in the US as well. So that is just a little bit of the history. And so these people grew up in these communities, colored and black. And I'm going to tell you right now, black people were so badly treated. Colored people just a step above. Now, I'm not going to say they did not suffer, because my mom is a product of somebody who suffered during that times, because I think she was 8 years old when she was forced to leave school and work on the farming areas for these white people. So all her dreams down the drain. She had to work on the farms for these white people, right? So she was labeled colored, but she didn't have any choices. She was basically forced to give up her dreams, right? As an 8-year-old to work on the farms. So that's the history. So a lot of these people grew up in these communities, and that's all they know. A person like Tyler, she only knows herself as being a colored because that is what she had been taught. Because these communities, unfortunately, are still segregated. Even with all the freedom that we have, a lot of us still live within these different communities. You live in a colored community, black community. Now, it's not to say that you cannot move in. You can definitely do that, but a lot of these communities are still mostly, populated based on these different race groups. So Tyler grew up understanding that she's a colored because legally she's legally termed a colored. Even on your birth certificate, you are colored, you're classified as a colored, right? So that's all she knew. Now let me get into these comments before I go any further, because I don't want to just be talking also. But I hope that you understand the basis from which we're going to build our argument. Okay? Let's get into these comments. Okay. Um, so yes, I am South African. Press the purple button. Okay. All right, 360. Oh my God. Are we on the same page? What are you guys talking about? We are all mixed. Unfortunately, unfortunately, when white supremacists decided that, like always, they want to take over stuff. That's how stuff got mixed up. They messed up so much. Whew. Okay, let's get into it. You are beautiful. Thank you. Let's get into it, please. It's hard to stay on course with your beauty. This is, we are having a whole, you guys damn near canceled Tyler because of what of this. And I'm trying to educate you, at least as a colored myself, which I hate, by the way. And now we are talking about we want to focus but we cannot. Let's do that. Let's focus, please. There's a lot to discuss. And I want you to understand why I'm so outraged at the fact that I cannot be classified as a black woman. I want to try ancestry, DNA. I definitely want to. Now, my history is a little bit more complex, right? My history in terms of, and I stand on the fact, and I know let me also say this, there are colored people that only want to be classified as coloreds. They don't want to be classified as African or as black because of the conditioning that happened over the years, right? So they just want to be, that's what they want to be, that's what they are. They're like, we proud coloreds, that is what it is, right? And my argument is not even that, because if that's what makes you feel happy, if that's what makes you feel proud, if that's your heritage, then you should definitely stay on that path. For me, it's a little different because I do want to change the narrative. I don't like the fact that a white man decided who it is. I'm trying not to get angry on here, but I hate the fact that a white man sat down and decided who the hell it is that I am. Okay? I hate that somebody decided, oh, these blacks, we need to separate. We need to separate them, segregate them, and then we have to label them. So the fact that a white man sat behind the fact that this is who I am right now, to the highest degree, it irks me to the absolute highest degree. Okay? Am I lagging? Really? Like the maids and the nurses? Exactly. That's exactly, Adrian, that's exactly what it is. So the blacks or the thank you so much for engaging and for being on course. This is a man who would have passed class. Okay? So exactly that. So in back in the day during apartheid years, African people mostly got like the maid jobs and the field working jobs, and not everybody, and I don't want, if you are colored in South African and you're watching this, please don't hear me wrong. My mother is a product of somebody who suffered during the apartheid years. So colored people definitely did suffer. There was a large popularity of colored, a large group of colored people that did suffer under the apartheid system, and for sure didn't get all these benefits. But some Africans were given maid jobs. This is why I hate this TikTok trend of white men on posting with South African maids and like, oh my God, look how cool we are. Like, she's working for us, but we are so cool. And it's like, I'm gonna try not to swear. I hate that, because that woman is still working for your family, or you have a black woman working for your family because of what your families did to South Africa. And now you're on here also making money off of the fact that she's working for your family, because now you on TikTok and you guys are going viral because you're dancing in a video with your maid. And that's somehow cute and you get engagement. No, it's messed up. And you need to actually retire that woman, build her a house, and apologize for the fact that you guys are living on a farm that our people most likely owned back in the day. But let's not get into the tea too much, because I'm already feeling my blood boiling like these people are in front of me. So let me settle down. But yes, and so colored people, a large group of them got like the better jobs, like the nurses and the teachers and the police officers. And I don't think police officers, but yeah, these types of jobs. But the Africans got like the farmers, the guy working in the yard, like those types of jobs, giving us more opportunities to do things more into the future, little by little. You look Khoisan. Now there we go. Now I think um, you might be South African. So my origin, if I had to put a word to it, if I had to say, based on my looks, I am, there are two types, and I need to obviously do a DNA test, but I am Khoisan and I am Xhosa. That's, in terms of my identity, that's what I think I am. Now, that's the sad part, and I'm going to try not to get emotional about this, is that I don't know. Because somebody had decided that you are colored. And somebody decided you don't really have a heritage. We don't really know where you are. I don't speak any African languages because I don't know. Because the only thing we speak is the oppressor's language, which is Afrikaans. I speak a form of Dutch. A white man gave me my language and he gave me my identity, and it pisses me off. And this is when people say that you just want a black man, you don't want to be open-minded. I want a black man because I want my kids to know that they are black, and that is it. They are black, and that's because I'm gonna give them, they're gonna know who they are. And I know there are some colored people watching this and they are outraged, for example, by this. Again, if you are proud to be colored, like Tyler, you claim your identity, and that's something that you knew and that you were proud of, I'm not knocking that. I'm saying for me, because I don't want to be classified by a white man. I don't want a white man to decide who it is that I am. That is why I'm outraged. Okay? And so, and I'm gonna also add this, and now you guys can go off on me in the comments if you want to, but a lot of colored people think they are better than African people. A lot of colored people think they are a step above at black people. The way that this, and I am telling all this stuff because one thing I will forever be is transparent. In these colored households, colored people are using terrible language to speak about African people. They are the ones using the K words. Now in Africa we have a K word, which is almost like the N word, like with the hard R, right? But it's a South African term that the white people gave black people, Bantu, African people back in the day. It's a K word, you can Google it, and it's very, very offensive. And so colored people in their conversations, they often use this. And I can't tell you how many times I had to correct my family and say, we do not speak like that about other people. Oh yeah, but they're coming into our communities. Matter of fact, this is our land. This is black land, black people land. The fact that you still believe that people are coming into your community, that is a problem in itself. Because what community? Somebody segregated you and decided this is yours, and now you are segregating other people even after all of this. So a lot of times colored people do have the superiority complex over African people, and I'm just being honest about it. On the flip side, a lot of African people also treat colored people badly with all the stereotypes that they have about them, that they are alcoholics and they are this and they are that. And so there's a lot of, and this is what we have to understand about a system. This is why white supremacy in itself was such a brilliant concept if you think about it. Because they said if we can get them to go at each other, then we don't even have to do the job. This is why a lot of people are sitting back now when black women and black men in the US go back and forth with each other, because you are doing my job for me. What I did is I introduced the crack pandemic. I separated the fathers from the homes by putting them in prison. And so now the hatred, the absolute frustration with the black woman for raising all these kids by herself is towards her husband. Now it's a population of people who all of it, now they hate each other, but it's a system that was designed strategically to put these two groups against each other. And now what do? They sit back and let you eat each other up. And it's until we have conversations like this where we are open and honest and transparent that we move ahead. And I'm going to get into another part that's going to irk a lot of people now, but before I do that, let me read these comments. So yes, I do agree. If anything, I think I'm Khoisan and I think I am Xhosa. Now the reason why I think I'm Xhosa, my grandmother was like the light colors, like the ones with the looser hair and the lighter skin. And my grandfather, we don't know who he was, but it was back in the day, my grandmothers lived on a farm, right? And back in the day, a lot of the African men, Bantu men, used to work on the farms. Again, the types of jobs that they got. You see how it all connects with each other, And so, my grandmother got pregnant. They didn't know who it was, but my mother is dark skinned. Like my mother is dark skinned. She is Viola Davis. Like that's the color of my mother, right? Now think about this. If everybody in my family is light skinned, or not everybody, but the majority of my family was, and my mother is dark skinned, then the assumption was that my grandfather was a Bantu African man. And if it was, I am absolutely proud of that heritage. That is the one thing I will hold on to. And the sad part is that I don't know. But we're assuming because there were not a lot of dark skinned, it was just not possible for any other thing. And then most of the men from that time came from the Eastern Cape. And from the Eastern Cape, you know, the Xhosa people live in the Eastern Cape. And so there's a lot of assumptions that I'm making, but if anything, also, people say that I'm both like a Xhosa. They say that I have the features of a Xhosa, and they also say I have the features of a Khoisan. So a lot of questions, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of anger. But now let me talk about why I understand Tyler, and then let's go into it. Call you thicker than a bowl of oatmeal. But we are having heartfelt conversations. Okay, we are having heartfelt conversations. Can you stay with the topic? I can do that in Cuba. Oh, you're Cuban. Okay. Love you. Hey, Randy. Stop people associating with color. Now, that's the thing, right? We can all say that. We can all have this. Just stop associating people with color. If that was the case, we wouldn't even exist. Racism wouldn't even exist. Whether or not we want to, it is the reality of this life. If I am fighting outside with somebody right now and the police comes and the person is of a different ethnicity, I am going to be the person that they assume is the issue because of all the stereotypes. And what is it connected to? To the color of my skin. So whether or not we want to say just don't, baby, that is very unrealistic, okay? We are human, not colors. Again, these are beautiful concepts to live by. Color matters. Race matters. Until racism dies, until racism is no longer part of the equation, these things exist. They're real because there are real consequences behind that. This is why a man could be literally unalived based on the color of his skin, being hit on, spit on, hanged from trees not so long ago in a free world. Because of what? The color of his skin. So damn, if we think it doesn't matter, if we don't want it to matter, it's like, oh, it's just, it's just like a little peace and freedom. That's beautiful concepts in terms of the ways, but in terms of reality, it's not realistic, babe. It matters, okay? Okay, I'm gonna have to skip some of the weird comments. You're going to become my best student from Afghanistan. Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. I love when I see people from all over the world. So welcome, friend, from Afghanistan. My bad if you become mine. Oh my God. No, can I just have an intellectual? Men, now is the point. Now in this is the time when you guys get to redeem yourself. When women say men are not intelligent and men cannot hold intelligent conversations, prove them wrong. Pull through in these comments. When women say men can no longer hold intelligent conversations because everything is sexualized, prove them wrong and let's have an intelligent conversation right now. Men, you are the ones, the leaders of the household, the people that your family look up to. If you cannot even string together a sentence to hold an intellectual conversation, my baby, where are we going? Where are we going as a society when you are the ones who are leading us? And you can't even hold a conversation. Yesterday, I think I had 17 likes on people saying we should have this conversation. Where are those 17 people? Because I need them. Because these conversations are hard to have, but they are real, and it's impacting real people. And so why do I understand Tyler? Okay. Now, like I said, remember earlier on I mentioned to you that there might be some colored people who are extremely upset by my views. When you have been conditioned for years and years and years to believe something, right? Whether or not you want to, it becomes your identity. If we wake up and they say, "Oh, you are colored," you're like, "Okay." A lot of us don't really question it, right? It's just like, "Hey, I live in a colored community. I grew up amongst coloreds. This is who we are. This is my identity, and I claim that." And at no point do I ask, "Wait, what is a colored?" Oh, a colored by definition is when a white man and a black man come together and they have a mixed child, and that child is colored. But I'm not colored because both my parents are brown black people. So how does that work? Oh no, but maybe they're. Oh, but let's look at another generation before them. They were also brown and black, and on that side is also brown and black. So maybe from my great grandmother, maybe there were some mixtures, because we do know about people being essayed by white people, right? Women being essayed by a white man. We know that, right? So we're not even gonna dispute that. How these yellow kids walked around all over the farms, and we're like, wait, who was the daddy? Oh no, it's a farmer. He raped my mother. Oh. Until we have real conversations, we'll forever be stuck in a place where people are like, but race doesn't matter. It for sure matters. And so a lot of these people like Tyler, they grew up in these communities, and I'm colored, right? I'm a proud colored. And so when she was interviewed and she was asked who she was, I think it all started with her posting a picture. And she had a picture of her. She was actually wearing Xhosa attire, and she was having bantu knots or something, or trying to make bantu knots. And she said, proud colored, or I don't know what, but it was a caption about her being colored. And the Black Americans went off on that. And this is why the Black Americans went off. And this is why I understand the Black American, the side of it as well. During slavery, or I don't know, before, I don't really know American history that much because I'm not an American, right? But there was a point within American history where there were a lot of labels. Coloreds only, whites only, right? Coloreds, white only. And that word colored was there. It was a term that says this is who you are, right? And Black Americans fought for a very long time. And I always say this, and people can come for me if they want to. I said we all have suffered. Whenever white people were involved, all of us suffered. But Black Americans suffered in a way that was so inhumane. Like Black American, and I know we're like, oh, we all suffered. There are degrees of suffering. There are degrees of suffering. Apartheid was terrible towards African people, and I will forever stand on that. That African people suffered tremendously during apartheid. Black American people were enslaved, chains put around their necks, chained to one another. Their private parts chopped off, hung from trees. Their women essayed in front of them. Their children essayed in front of them. The men literally whooped with whoops until their skin was literally no longer. You couldn't differentiate between skin and bone. So the level of trauma that American people have been through is absolutely insane. And this is why I oftentimes look at American people like, you guys have been through so much. And you found a way, like you found a way to still be successful. You found a way to influence culture. Like all over the world, we are all, copying from, we are all taking notes from Black Americans. And so I'm forever going to say that out of all of us, we have suffered. Other people, maybe not so much, just Black people, African people. If I get on colors or keep, but whatever. But Black American people suffered in a way that will psychologically will send you to the moon, right? And they thrived. But there was a time when they were labeled colored, and you are only allowed to go into this toilet. You're not allowed to go into this restaurant, which is funny because when we taste their food now, we're like, thank God you didn't let us in there. But they were not allowed to get into these places. And that word colored is very triggering. But if you take it back to South Africa, where people had been legally termed colored for their entire lives, they don't make the connection between the word for Americans and the absolute horror that it holds for them and who they are as a colored in South Africa. And so when Americans heard Tyler say about colored, they heard their past speaking. They heard the trauma of their past and they did not hear what she was saying. And so they did take it out of context. And so we give Tyler a little bit of grace because this is what she's been told her entire life. Colored people are very proud of their heritage. A lot of them are. And not because they are ignorant or because they just don't, not because they think that they're better than everybody. That is just what they've been told their entire lives. And they claim that. I don't claim it, and it took me a very long time, but I am colored. Whether I want to or not, I'm colored. I don't claim it. If you ask me who I am, I'm a black woman. I will always say that. But you have to understand that the two terms meant two different things because we are two different continents. And the trauma was different in these two places. And so when she said I'm a proud colored, Americans heard their past. They didn't understand what she was saying. Not lighting anymore, good. I'm just ignoring some of the weird comments. Okay. But too much of a woman. Still black at the end of the day, colored or not. It's the definition, the division of white men indulge in. Exactly. And thank you so much for adding that comment. That is exactly what I'm saying. If you really think about the whole system of the psychological trauma that they've done and just how badly they were able to influence the entire world. Think about how brilliant that system was, where they turned the villain into the victim and the victim into the villain. That throughout the world, black people are the villains. And then I want you to think about this. Who were the people who tied people to the back of their trucks and dragged them to their death? Who were the people that let men sleep with their mothers in front of them because it did something to them? Who were the people that took a Khoisan woman, Sarah Bartman, who was very voluptuous, made her stand in front of them and treated her like an animal by poking at her and putting stuff in her? The most evil group of people were able to convince the rest of the world that the evil ones are the victims. So this is why I'm telling you that for me, it will forever be black people. Now, I could be, you can label me as you racist, you can say whatever you want to say until you understand the history of a thing. And it's a different story if the history doesn't affect us anymore, but we know the microaggression that we experience till this day. We know the racism that we experience till this day. That young boy that got murdered by his little white friends, we've seen that. And yet we say it doesn't matter. It matters because it open your eyes, it matters. And so the whole thing about Tyler, I want for you guys to understand, honestly, if I'm honest, she was really coming from a place of innocence. It wasn't her being malicious. It wasn't her being, oh, I'm better than you. This is why I'm you have to understand the history of a thing. And so still in South Africa, a lot about colored people are claiming that they are proud to be colored because they haven't dug deep enough to say, wait a minute, who said I'm a colored? And why is a white man's voice the loudest voice when it comes to my identity? Why does a white man get to say who it is that I am? And why is it that I get to treat my brother? We were all blacks. We were just black people. Until who gave you your identity? That's the real challenge. And so in Black Americans, I want for you to take away the word in the context in which your history spoke to you about it and the way in which African history spoke to it. Because she was speaking from the South African perspective. She's also very young. I'm not making excuses. I'm trying for you to understand. Now, one thing about me, I call stuff out. When it's wrong, it's wrong. I just called out my people for treating African people like they are trash. I just called them out. How a lot of colored people still think they are above African people. That is the truth. I will call you out when you're wrong. And how some African people also think some colored people aren't, they are too ghetto for them. So that is the reality. That is the tango that we're up against. But I really honestly don't think Tyler meant it in a terrible way. Even her responses, like it's very much like that. I'm not saying that. I am my heritage. I think she's Irish, she's Xhosa, and she's colored, and she's something else as well. She's claiming all of that. She had on Xhosa attire when she said that. So I want you to think about the she's a 22, 20. I don't really listen to, I don't really listen to Tyler like that. I don't really like Tyler's music like that. And this is not about anything. It's not the music I'm into. But I was looking at the thing, and she was standing there with Xhosa attire. Now I want you to put two and two together. If she doesn't claim her blackness, why would she be standing in Xhosa attire? So, okay. Hey, Bruce. You were a damn woman. I would hope so. Good Lord. Oh my God. You guys are not. Thank you for the person sending hearts. We are all mixed ancient DNA. Oh, for sure. There's definitely level future white material. Focus. Oh, let me pin this. James, I'm gonna block you one more time. Somebody saying just subscribe. Smart girl. I love a smart girl, my little bookworm. She's real. Me. Guys, are we talking about the same topic? She really put us on top of the game. Just listen to her. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet to say. I'm actually putting this one. Again, this is just my lived experience, and I want you to understand that I'm speaking from a woman who is classified as a colored. If I go home, there's a community that I have to go into, a segregated community that is still. Now, don't get me wrong, these places are free, but this is what I tell you about white supremacy. Once you got up here, it is difficult for you to get people to act differently. So there are still a lot of communities. Oh, that is Buguletu. Oh, that's a black community. Oh, that is Kailicha. That's a black community. Oh, that is Grabo. That's a colored community. Oh, that is Caledon. That's more like a whitish colored community, right? This still exists because they got up here. And guess who's still suffering the most? If you go to South Africa right now, there are people, mostly African people, mostly Bantu African people, and Bantu for me is also a word that I'm not too comfortable with. I don't know how African people feel about that, but that word is legal term as well, but I don't really like it that much. Tell me if it's offensive, I will stop saying it. These people live in shacks, like little huts on the side of the road. Hundreds and hundreds of these little huts. And then colored people have the audacity to say, African people get all the opportunities. We don't get any opportunity. Well, guess what? It is just not your turn right now. That's the thing about when a system is, and now is the other thing. It's like, yeah, but the ANC, which is the leading party now, which is mostly African, they are corrupt. If you take from a group of people all of their life and all of a sudden give them power, you have to psychologically change their perspective first. If I'm without food all my life, and all of a sudden I have all of this food, I'm gonna stack my house with all this food because my mindset is there might be a day, but I might never have it again. So now you put me in power with all this money without training me and psychologically evaluating me and putting me through a system where I'm literally just being rid of all the trauma of my past, that, oh, there is enough. It's okay. Now people are like, yeah, but they just corrupt and they just take from their people and they give all the jobs to their people. Well, did you take them through a system where they got the help that they needed? Did you do that? No, you didn't? Oh, okay. But these people are still suffering. they're still living on the side of the roads. If you Google, you can Google it right now. We have a beautiful country. Guess who's living in the mansions? I'll give you some time to Google that. Guess who owns most of the properties in Africa? Guess who owns the land? I'll give you time to Google that. White people get to walk around on a Tuesday morning in a fancy suite on the side of the beach walking their dogs. And there's some black man picking up trash so he can feed his family tonight. So don't you dare. When Trump came with that little, oh, white South Africans are being unalived by Africans, I'm like, clearly they're not doing a good enough job, because how are these people still thriving? And guess who came back a couple of months later? If you are being unalived, why are you coming back? Make it make sense. If I am being, y'all are just doing too much, I'm staying where it's safe at. Why did you come back? Because you lied. And I'm not saying that farm murders don't happen. Definitely it happens. But murders happen all over. It happens all the time. So for them to be lying like that when they know they own the land of the African people, I am outraged. So not only did you gave me my identity, you took away our people's land, you own Africa basically, you own our people. Our people are living like animals, like dogs on the side of the roads in these little the size of a dog, basically a dog, what do you call this, shelter that you have for a dog. If you Google that, you will see all those little huts on the side of the road. If you come out of the fancy airport of Cape Town and if you touch down, you will see all those hundreds and hundreds of shacks of African people still suffering. So yes, if I can claim my identity, I am a black woman who has been unfortunately identified as colored by the systems that are still in power till this day. They don't own the political parties, but they own the land. And that's my TED Talk. Okay. Okay. Are you living in a mansion? Me? No, I live in an apartment that I pay a lot of money for. I miss those old days when I used to come home to a hot good meal. Oh God, this is why I tell you, women are giving up on y'all, because for real, be trying to have a conversation and y'all just on some other type of time. I'm telling you, y'all opening up a different conversation. This is why women are giving up on men, because men can't hold conversations. White people are living the life. thank you, somebody's coming through in South Africa, and they claim they were a white genocide. It's crazy work. I want you to go to South Africa right now. Guess if you go to Constancia, if you go to Camps Bay, they are laying on the sand right now as we speak, walking their dogs right now as we speak, flying first class right now, but in between the different cities in South Africa as we speak. But these people are suffering. Oh my God. They own the land, they own the farms, they own the wine farms, they own the hotel, they own damn near everything. The banks, everything. But there was a genocide. When, I'm not gonna get too bad, let me not say that, because that's gonna cause a lot of trouble. But when Robert Mugabe said what he said, I didn't have an issue with it. Don't call me cruel or whatever. A lot of times the way we win a system is by fighting the system. We talk too much. We're not taking anything. We talk too much. Oh, we need, we need freedom. We need, Africans, we have so many Africans in Africa. We have the majority. Why don't you just take your stuff? Take it back. But there's the other part also, to the other side of the coin is also, if you did not teach people how to work the land, if I get their land, I'm not gonna know how to hold on to the land. Yes, I can take the land from you, but if I did not learn how to plant, if I did not learn the financial literacy to keep that a farm afloat, if I didn't learn about, how to import, output, if I didn't know how to get the product from here to here, if I didn't know how to pay my people, how to work with, if I didn't know the basics of running a farm, I'm gonna flop. So you can give me the land, but I'm not ready to receive it. So a lot of it has to do with changing people's perspective, changing the way they think before we can give anything back. But a lot in the meantime, we can just take it. Somebody said this, and I agree 100%. This is also why I don't believe in xenophobia, because Africans cannot be foreigners in Africa, and I stand on that's another topic for another day. But Africans cannot be foreigners in Africa. That doesn't make any sense. So a Nigerian in South Africa is not a problem to me. A guy from Ghana in South Africa is not, because it's an African and he's in Africa. You are not mad at the white people in South Africa, but you're mad at the black people in South Africa. Make it make sense. That same outrage that you have towards Nigerians and Ghanaians, if I'm saying it right, and people from the Congo, if that same rage that you have to, you don't want them in South Africa, that same rage, channel that into getting white people out of South Africa. That's what you can do. That's what you can do. Whew. We have to worry about our own people first before worrying about white people. We can change ourselves first before we can change them. And that's the thing, I'm not even trying to change them, because here's the thing, they will never change. I'm gonna give it back with you. They will, in all of my 38 years, I have given white people grace, and every time I've given them grace, they showed me why I shouldn't give them grace. Every time when I gave them grace, they showed me, go on and have those little thoughts of them and entertain that. Because every time I give them people some grace, they showed me that they will forever think that they are above us. They will forever have that perception that they are here and we are down here. In the way of their treatment, their microaggression, their gaslighting. So for me, yes, we need to organize and think about people. The problem also is with white supremacy. Is the minute when black people excel, the level of threat that those people feel. Somebody said this, and I absolutely agree with that. They said, and oh God, this is the truth. If you think black people are beneath you, why did you burn down your success? Because you know if the playing fields are even, what do? We dominate every single time. And something that I always hold on to is that little black girl. This will forever be funny to me. That black girl just randomly decided she likes to ice skate now. There was some white girl who was practicing for like years and years and years for this thing. And some black girl just randomly said, oh, I actually like this. And then won the championship just because she liked it. So you know when the playing fields are even, we will dominate every single time. This is why they're threatened by black people getting educated, by black people investing in, and what do they push this narrative of ghetto behavior, my baby mamas. This is why I tell men, try your utmost best to not make women pregnant before you marry them. At the very least, that's the first thing you can do. At the very least. Because the only thing we do is feed into their systems where they want to keep us poor. And we know nothing will get you more out of your pocket than a child. Children are expensive. You know what I'm saying? So hold on, tie up some things if you need to. Go to a doctor. Tell the girl, take whatever you need to take to do this thing. It needs to get done. Like, the only way for us to break the system is to get it here. To break the system here. The problem is they got us here. And so what do we buy? We buy Jordans. Poor people will forever be the ones who want to buy the most expensive thing, because what is it? It's a token of the life that I can live. And so I'm going to give you the illusion that that's the life that I live. Bro, you are in debt. One thing about me, I'm going to wear my little Shein top, Shein or Shein, whatever it's called. I live the life I can afford. Now, one thing I might spend a little bit of money on is an apartment, because I really, for me, where I stay is everything. I'm very big on that. That's something I probably need to work on. That's something I probably need to change. And be hypocrite. That's something I can work on. But that's how we keep ourselves forced. Buying all these expensive. If you cannot buy a pair of Jordans and be okay, then you should not buy a pair of Jordans. And if a girl is judging you because you don't wear a pair of Jordans, that's not the girl for you. Why are you buying a Birkin bag? Is it called Birkin? What is a Birkin bag? Is it Birkin or Birkin? I don't know what it's called, but whatever that thing is. Why are you concerned about a bag? Go put a plastic bag on it if you need to. Why do I need to have a bag that's made from alligator butt? Like, I don't need that. If I can afford it, don't get me wrong, if you can afford it, go for it. That's what you can do. But if you need to get into debt to do the things that you want to do, then you should not be living that type of life. Because if we are here, if we are focused in terms of finances, self-sufficiency, getting those farms, planting vegetables, engaging, having these secluded communities where we build within our communities. Somebody laughing, the alligator butt. But really, like, if we have that, we have our own communities. There's a little doctor on the corner. There's a dentist here. There's worried about the wrong shit, man. Anyway, you're gorgeous, mommy. I thank you. It's all social programming. I agree. It's all for show. I agree. Why do I care what you think about me? So now I got my little Birkin bag. Now what? Now I'm in debt because I got a Birkin bag. Now my kids cannot eat because I got a Birkin bag. It's nothing but stupidity. Like, it's just literally what it is. You got 17,000 Jordans, but you didn't pay your child support. And why do you have child support to begin with? So we should be thinking about, how do we build community? We have so many educated people. Black people are probably the most educated group of people. We are educated, we are smart, we are inventive. We set the trend for the world. I want you to think about this for a second. Black people set the trend for the entire world. You got Indians dancing to rap music. We set, now can you imagine if we put that into, and look how you find this little man, this guy that could make oil from plastic. What? A black man. Think about if we invest in all of that. You put your money there. You're like, wait, let's not invest in this young man. Let's build a community. Let's get farms. Let's go off grid. Let's get our kids out of this system that is not even educating them the right way. They're taking away your history, fam. Where's that meme? What are you worried about? Big butts. What are you worried about? He's not gonna take me to the cheesecake factories, but he's not gonna do. That's the silly shit we get into as black people. What? This is why other groups exceed us every single thing. Because our priorities are so messed up, fam. Man, we were having for 45 minutes of this conversation. I was just trying to get you to come up off of my behind and talk to me about this conversation that we are having. Priorities messed up, fam. Everything is not about a big butt. Everything is not about a man with a bunch of money, a 6'5" man. Like, other people, we are build communities, fam. Go and send your case to this white supremacy, I guess, colleges, so they can get a skill, and they can do plumbing and build a house. Like, if you can, get them out of the system completely. Educate a couple, get a bunch of black people to become educators, and go and build a school off grid and get those babies into those schools. Have your communities where you have your doctors on this corner and your grocery store in that corner. And if you want to be, because we really love sports, have these men build these centers. So you on the wrong shit, fam. I'm telling you that much. And I agree, social media for sure have part in all of this. Y'all, I got so much to do. I spoke for 1 hour, but that's my opinion on everything. If anything, I'm gonna close this off by saying I am a black woman. I can hear something. I hope that's not a lizard. I don't want to look up. Oh God, I can hear a lizard, y'all. Thailand is full of lizards and geckos. I'm scared as hell. But yeah, I'm a black woman who only is interested in black men. I've changed my views on wanting kids desperately to perhaps being child free. But I do want for black people to put our priorities on things that matter. Look spade, fam. Stop being obsessed about stuff that's not important. Let's build our communities. Let's get off grid. Let's be self-sufficient. Let's get these farms going. Educate our babies. If you're gonna use the system, at least go and educate your kids with some stuff that's gonna be of value to us. Get those educators, build those schools off grid, and build our communities. Let's build Black Wall Street again. South African people, divert your anger and xenophobic beliefs to white folks. And call me full of hate, but to fight the system, we gotta get aggressive with it. But that whole thing of having white people lay on our sand the way that they do, own waterfront, own all of these things. If you think about Table Mountain, ask yourself, yes, it might be part of the government, they might get it, but who are the people in charge now of Cape Town? Divert your anger into some stuff that makes some sense. Africans cannot be foreigners in Africa. White people can be. Love y'all. Bye.